the effects of commercials and the effects of commercials versus media in general. Because one of the things that when I was reading through this, and I worked with you a bit on the literature review, and I really got a lot better, and I really could see how you were talking about this. But one of the things that I really wanted to hear your thoughts on is how commercials' effects on people and gender are different in your mind than media in general.
Well, first of all, the duration of a commercial is much shorter than most forms of media. But what happens is that I cited a study that said that after a certain point, children have a hard time differentiating between the commercial itself and the show that they're watching, for example. So that is one example. But also, because the commercial is so short, they try to pack in as much as they can in that. So, yeah, it just gets internalized.
So because things are packed in,
yeah,
really, okay.
It's just as much as they can in the amount of time, and those commercials last about 30 seconds.
Okay.
There's also a lot on kids' television of advertising within the programs and linkages back and forth. So they make it more difficult for kids to tell the differences from one to the other.
It's
And they also
also a
match
targeted audience.
the audience of the commercial with the audience of the show that they're like that is being, not to say shown, but
Yeah.
yeah.
I have a maybe where I want to start is with the way is with your coding system.
Okay.
You have a tremendously complex coding system, and you spend a lot of time sort of breaking down this and this and this and all the different codes. And I'm wondering if you were to do this again, would you want to stick with such a complicated code, or in what ways might you have simplified it?
I mean, I think that over time I simplified it. Initially, it was not simple, so I ended up recoding.
It's simple now.
It's simple for me because I've spent so much time on it, but it's not exactly efficient in terms of time. But I definitely feel like I got a lot out of it. But I think that after doing this study, I have developed more solid codes. So what I ended up doing was basically after I had my results, I went through again and I would code, okay, this is the amount of people of people of Asian descent, and this is the amount of women, this amount of children. And by having checklists like that, it was more effective and it was better organized. So just breaking it down, but then I would end up with much more codes than I had, but it would be easier to quantify.
And then I have a question about the way in which you talked about the gender of the toy.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. Because you say that there's a lot of toys that aren't gendered. Were you relying just on the pronoun? Because at one point you suggest that the gender of the toy has to do with the pronoun used to describe the toy itself.
I think in order for the gender to be explicit, that is what I relied upon because, for example, I spoke about Barbie Glamour Camper, which, clearly to me reads feminine, but in and of itself, it's not, I can't say it's a girl, for example. It doesn't have that referring to it. But I think this relates back to what I was saying before in terms of gender being complex, in that the shape of a camper is basically, I coded that as a vehicle. So a vehicle is not feminine necessarily. I would say it's more neutral, which it's more masculine, honestly. But in my study, what I realized is that neutrality and masculinity are pretty much paralleled. And for a toy to be gendered is really for it to have feminine attributes. So
I think where both of us are reacting, and probably all three of us are reacting, is some of those decisions that you were making in there feel a little bit like analysis, or like trying to get, those are your findings in some ways, but that are being made a little bit, well, not prematurely, but I think some of that could have been your findings as opposed to, so making those decisions, I think, I had the same reaction with color, when you made the decision about red being masculine, which I wouldn't disagree with necessarily, but I kind of wanted to know how you made those decisions, and so I think having thoughts about how you're gonna make those decisions right away before you code needs to be explained, so that then when you're actually making the analysis and saying femininity equals not masculinity or not neutral is your finding, because otherwise you've made a decision that equals analysis at the beginning.
With color, for